Hey guys, and welcome to something new I'm going to be doing on this channel called Kerbal Space Program. We're going to be doing a science mode save, where we're going to unlock the whole tech tree, and then go on to doing some really cool missions. I have a couple of planned missions that we're going to do over the time. Some helicopters, which I've been working on. I've got some shuttle missions, some really cool space station missions, and yeah. So what we're doing right now is we're building our first little ship. So what we're going to do is we're going to put four mystery goo things on it with a basic booster just to get it up off the ground. But in fact, on this rocket, I don't believe we ever do get it up off the ground. It also has a parachute on top, just as precaution, and yeah. So we're going to launch this from the main one. We're going to observe the goo, and then we're going to take crew report and an EVA report, and also a surface sample, which I can for some reason take from the ladder on this. We launch this in the air very quickly, take some goo, and then it all goes a bit wrong when I try to EVA and drop Jebediah Kerbin to his death. So let's forget that happened and do it all again. So yep. What we're doing is we are observing the mystery goo, taking the data, and then we take it on us, so we can store more data. But yeah, so we just took the data there, and recovered it, and then also recovered the vessel afterwards. We'd taken a surface sample, a EVA report, and a mystery goo, and a crew report. And then now what we're going to do is we're going to do it at the I can't say that base. It's the Wajomang, something like that. But we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to take all the mystery goo. I think I forgot to do an EVA report there, and a surface sample, but hey ho, it doesn't particularly matter. And what we're doing is we are trying to rush basic science so we can get a science junior. So we're already nearly there, to be honest. So now we're doing it also in the desert one, desert launch pad, very quickly, observing all the mystery goos, doing an EVA report, and then taking a surface sample and recovering all the stuff we did. Now, yeah, so we recover the vessel, and we've got a good amount of science, 29, which will get us basic rocketry. However, we chose not to spend it this time in order to try and save up for basic science. Now this time, we are going to actually launch into the air and use the mystery goos. So we launch into the air, observe some mystery goo while we're in the air, and then what we're going to do is when we hit the ground, we are going to observe the mystery goo again, and yeah, using this parachute right here to just slow us down a little bit. We're going to take an EVA report on our way down because there's not as much aerodynamic pressure this time, so we don't fall off. And yeah, so using the mystery goo canisters when we hit the ground, though I believe our engine explodes. Nope, we just fall over. And then we have to do this awkward twist so we can have the hatch uncovered so we can take an EVA report and take a surface sample. And then we recover all that, and then we go back and recover the vessel as well. Though I accidentally clicked fly, but then from there I just recovered it. And then we finally now have a science junior, which is the most important thing in the game. And I have 17.9 science, needed 18 to get some avionics stuff. But now what we're going to do is we're going to design a version of this that is launchpad ready, so we can get all this science from launchpads. We also have a science junior on this one, and some new science equipment, which is always good. So some thermometers and some barometers. We just put a basic swivel engine on it and a parachute, and yeah, we're gonna go take some data from all the launch pads, observe the goo, take some data, observe the mystery, observe the science junior, and then take an EVA report with Jebediah looking rather dead there. But yes, so we're just slowly but surely gathering up more science. We're going to get rocketry here, general rocketry, and we're going to do the same thing at the island runway. So doing the exact same thing, observing all our science, taking an EVA and a surface sample, and recovering everything. Though I still haven't recovered the craft, but hey ho. Are we gonna... No, we're not gonna recover the craft, apparently. Okay, well, I forgot to recover the craft there. Though I think I do it a bit later on. So yeah, we're doing the same thing again at the desert runway. Same thing each time. Just to get that science up, just for ease. Now, I really do want to advance the series. What my aim is to get the tech tree as quick as possible. And as you can see here, I'm actually recovering the vessels now. Get the tech tree as quick as possible, and then work on some really cool projects. Not based on science, just cool ones. So, I've got plans for space station stuff. And, yeah. So here, what we're doing is we're building our 4th or 3rd? I reckon 3rd. Our 3rd sort of science machine. So, for some reason, the music in game started playing here. And that's what you can hear, and it sounds really odd. It just, yeah, ignore it. So what we're doing here is we're chucking a bunch of science juniors onto a rocket, just so we can get it from different stages of the atmosphere, so lower, upper, and space. This is a suborbital mission, I do believe. I think. Yes, this is suborbital. Is it suborbital? I do not remember. I think it was meant to be No, it isn't a suborbital mission. Okay. Well, no, it is a suborbital mission. Sorry. This is the first suborbital mission, not an orbital. Suborbital, which means we go into space, but we don't actually stay in space. Due to the fact that we're not going fast enough. So, I, for some reason, messed up that by letting them go far too early. Yeah, this is the 3rd one we're doing. I've just put some aerodynamic cones on that, just to sure it up a little bit. What we do get here is we do try and get some sea data. So, that's fun. So from that failed mission that I was planning on cutting out, we did get a little bit of sea data, which always very nice. But yeah, we're doing the same thing again. This was meant to be suborbital. I changed my mind and I'm just getting some data off the floor because, as you saw, it spun out a lot. So what we're doing is we're going to all the runways. See, it always spins. We're going to all the runways and trying to get into some other biomes to try and get some Science Junior data. It was a change of plan rather than a sort of planned thing. So I added some extra chutes because last time it kind of blew up when it hit the floor. But yeah. So all we're doing is we're just landing in a different biome. We were in grasslands, we're now in highlands. So that just gives us some different science to have. Yeah, so we again have to do that weird rotation thing so the hatch is available, and then we get some data. And again, we are going to look at the science tree, see if we can get anything, and we do get avionics, so we can build planes now. However, in this episode, I decided not to. It probably would have been worth it, just because I'm going to all these different biomes, but yeah, this mission I do distinctly remember is a pretty poor mission. I got barely any science because I went to another highlands biome by accident, and then got jabbed to climb up these mountains. And it was pointless, and for some reason my monitor's just gone off, so, and it's back. So, yeah, we land in the highlands again. You can see it below the flight engineer thing at the top, the moved flight engineer thing, it's just next to it. We land pretty well, but the problem is we're in a highlands biome again, so we don't get any new science. I get Jebediah to get out, and I just tell him to go run up a mountain. and yes, it really doesn't help us at all. I get this is the most painful thing to do in this game, running up mountains, and we literally get no benefit from doing it whatsoever, because there isn't a mountains biome in this game, there is only highlands. So this was the most pointless mission I have ever done, and I apologise that you have to witness this. If you were to go to the left a bit more, I believe you would have gone a new biome, but I went to the right because it spun out to the right. So yeah. But now what we're going to do is we're going to work on an actual suborbital mission. So what we're going to do is we're going to send a Kerbal into space, and just get some data from space. What I forgot to do is put on any science data here. So I put in a Science Junior and some extra sciencey stuff inside the bay. I hope to God I did. Yes, I did. I added some mystery goo in the bay and some barometers and thermometers on the side of the main ship. However, I forgot to deploy with the bay closed, so I have to do that before I launch. And I also launched in the desert by accident. It wasn't my intention. So what I'm doing here is I'm literally just following my prograde vector. Just get the maximum amount of velocity we possibly can. We're just going as high as we can. I kind of regret only putting one Science Junior on this. I kind of wish I put two, so we could maybe see if we were high enough, because 150k is fairly high, if we were high enough to get some extra data, but unfortunately we weren't. Anyway, so yeah, what we've done is we've gone into space and we're getting an EVA report in space very quickly, and another crew report. And so all we're doing here is pointing retrograde as we fall to the Earth, so the shield takes the majority of the heat. And so what we do here is we just deploy our parachutes and slowly sail down into the desert sand. It always takes a long time to fall with parachutes in this game. Kind of annoying. And the thing is, you can't fast forward too fast with parachutes because they're so glitchy. They should add like a auto recovery if you're in parachute mode and you would safely land, but that wasn't a particularly safe landing. Anyway, let's just gloss over that. That never happened. All I'm doing here is I'm just quickly looking to see what I can get. So what I decided to get, I seem to think, was heavy rockets or something along the advanced rockets. I think I decided to go for, but what I'm doing here is just looking through what there is. What do I decide to get? Heavy rockets. I do decide to get heavy. Oh no, yeah, heavy rockets and control. And now what we're going to try and work on is our first orbiter. Now, I tried to do a satellite style orbiter here with no Kerbals on board, but if you use a satellite at this point, you don't have an SAS, and I can't cope without SAS with how bad these rockets are. So I had to send a Kerbal. So at the minute, you can see in the video, I haven't got a Kerbal on this. I've got a Sputnik style probe, and I'm just chucking some batteries of Science Junior and some mystery goo on it, along with, I think I do put some other sciencey stuff on it in a minute. But yeah, the plan was this would just be a satellite. Now this particular rocket caused me absolute hell. I just could not seem to get this to work. Eventually I did by SAS and some weird contraption I built on the side of this, but I couldn't get this to work very well. It was really, really tough. But yeah, so what we did is we had a wider base based rocket, so we could have some bigger engines on the bottom. I actually seem to think I decided in the end not to use a big rocket. I definitely did not use the Bobcat in the end. I think I used a skipper in the end. Yeah, I did use a skipper in the end. So as you can see, I'm calling it first satellite / orbiter. It ended up being first orbiter because it wasn't a satellite, because it was a Kerbal on board. And this is what you can see here. You can see how much bigger this rocket has got. You'll also see that there's a skipper engine now rather than a bobcat, and some fins and a couple more fuel tanks. So what I'm going to do here is chuck on 4 hammer solid rocket boosters along with a structural piece just to push them away from this skipper engine, because this skipper engine slightly pokes out here, and it means that when they decouple, they quite often collide with the skipper engine. Now I removed the fins because they would also collide with that, and then I do also put a little nose cone on these and make it white, and this seemed to work very well after I sorted out the staging. The staging was a little bit messed up before we went into the mission, but I fixed it when we went in. And yeah, so you can see it's a little bit wobbly, but what we're doing is we're using mainly those solid rocket boosters to get some thrust up. I had the throttle very, very low there just as control, and we are slowly but surely pitching across, much slower than I would like to, and then eventually what we decided to do was point mainly prograde, but I did let it sort of go a bit up in front of prograde, and what we do is we made a maneuver node at apoapsis to create an orbit that was kind of even. It was ishy, just enough to get us into orbit. I wasn't particularly bothered about it being a good orbit. I just wanted to get something into orbit. This took me about an hour because I just could not get it to work with the parts for some weird reason. But yeah, so now we have our satellite, and so I fasted forward and we got a beautiful, beautiful Kerbal? Is it called Kerbal? The sun in this game? A Kerbal, right. It was absolutely fantastic. Now, you might be like, oh my god, you're going to leave this Kerbal in space? No, it can kind of land, but I forgot to put parachutes on it. So, yeah, I think for their safety, it would be better if I just leave them, and then I'm going to, at some point, probably send up a rescue mission. But yeah, that Kerbal rise was absolutely beautiful. So anyway, hope you guys all enjoyed this first episode. I did. It was very fun to make, and yeah, enjoy the rest of your day.